You gave me a forever within the numbered days. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 saddest teen movie endings.
Things that seemed meaningful were actually meaningless.
All right.
Can't explain it, Todd.
It was his father!
Thomas J. had this on him. I thought you might like to have it.
For this list, we'll be looking at those teen flicks that had us tearing up as the credits rolled. We're focusing on movies with teen characters and/or coming-of-age teen movies, which means big, epic action romances will not count this time.
Never let go. I will never let go, Jack. I'll never let go.
Also, it says endings right in the title, so yes, there will be plenty of spoilers. When you stop crying, please leave us a comment below. Number 20, Keith.
Saddest?
Haven't lied to you this far. I'm not gonna start now.
Natalie is the beautiful, popular girl in high school, and her new lab partner is Keith, an annoying guy who doesn't care what anyone thinks. Obviously, they fall in love. But while that would make you happy cry, Keith's secret is what will have those sad tears running down your face.
I just know I want to be with you. I don't understand what you're doing.
Keith has cancer, and although these two want to spend the rest of their lives together, the rest of Keith's life isn't going to last much longer.
I am staying with you until you leave. I don't care how much time we have. Get that, you stupid jerk.
However, the connection they shared was so important to Natalie that we see in the film's coda, her life path has changed to honor the boy who meant so much to her. Number 19, Cruel Intentions. Cruel Intentions is a modern adaptation of the 1782 French novel Les Liaisons Dangereuses, featuring rich high school teens in New York City. The titular unkind intentions belong to step-siblings Catherine and Sebastian, who place a wager on Sebastian's ability to seduce the headmaster's virgin daughter, Annette.
Screwing the new headmaster's daughter before school starts. She'll be my greatest victory.
You don't stand a chance.
Sebastian succeeds, but not before falling in love with her.
I'm impressed.
Well, I'm in love.
Which leads Catherine to joyfully manipulate her stepbrother into breaking up with her. This dark story brings Sebastian and Annette together in the end, but only to see Sebastian hit by a car as he pushes his true love to safety.
Sebastian.
I love you, Annette.
I love you too.
Catherine gets her comeuppance in the final scene, but Sebastian's death means this is not a happy ending.
'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony that's life.
Number 18, Now is Good.
Our life is a series of moments. Let them go.
While the film's title might seem to imply a happy ending, this 2012 romantic drama starring Dakota Fanning is based on the novel Before I Die, which hits the sadness a little more directly. Fanning plays Tessa, a 17-year-old girl with terminal acute lymphoblastic leukemia and a secret bucket list, who falls in love with her new neighbor Adam.
You know where to come.
Yes, I do.
We're sure you know where this is going. But knowing doesn't make it any less sad when Tessa's cancer eventually takes her from this earth as she lies peacefully in Adam's arms.
You can go now. You can go.
Bye, Tess. Haunt me if you like. I don't mind.
Number 17, Boys in the Hood.
That's why fools be getting shot all the time. Trying to show how hard they is. Ignorant.
The film is a coming-of-age drama set in the LA Hood in the 80s and 90s when gang violence was at its peak. The film was John Singleton's directorial debut and made him the youngest and the first African American to receive a Best Director Oscar nomination. The film's main protagonist is Trey, played by Cuba Gooding Jr., who goes to live with his dad in South Central LA.
Never thought I'd be crying in front of a female.
You can cry in front of me.
The film is a hard and real look at gangs, race, and violence, and while Trey makes it out alive, many of his friends do not. And although they seem to accept that as a consequence of the life they chose, it doesn't make it any less sad to see it play out.
You're my only son, and I'm not gonna lose you to no bullshit, you hear? I love you.
Number 16, Before I Fall.
It's never too late.
Before I Fall is a teen drama with a time loop twist. Think a much sadder Groundhog Day. Our hero is Samantha, who, one night with her friends, gets into a car accident and wakes up in a time loop, reliving the day over and over again.
It wasn't a dream. It really happened. Again.
As she begins each day anew, she uses the opportunity to make some amends, fall in love, and learn the truth about the accident. She eventually realizes that the initial car accident occurred when the vehicle hit a girl, Juliet, who she has become friends with. However, reminiscent of Sebastian in Cruel Intentions, who saves the girl but in turn gets hit by a car, Samantha dies after saving Juliet from the oncoming traffic.
Maybe for you there's a tomorrow. Maybe for you there's 1,000 or 3,000 or 10. But for some of us, there's only today.
Number 15, The Outsiders.
Pony boy, I asked the nurse to give you this book so you could finish it. It's worth saving those little kids. Their lives are worth more than mine. They have more to live for.
The Outsiders is a 1983 film directed by the great Francis Ford Coppola, based on the 1967 novel of the same name by S.E. Hinton. Although the film takes place in a very different time and place, there are some similarities to Boys in the Hood. Both films are dark coming-of-age stories centered around kids and gangs and the cycle of violence that they bring. Like Boys in the Hood, Coppola's film sees multiple characters shot and die as the movie reaches its conclusion. It does end with a glimmer of hope for the future, but only because of all the sadness that brought us there.
You meant you're gold when you're a kid. Like green. When you're a kid, everything's new. Dawn.
Number 14, All the Bright Places.
What are you doing?
I asked you first.
If you've watched Now Is Good, why not check out another tearjerker with a Fanning sister? The younger Elle Fanning plays Violet Markey in this Netflix movie, a girl dealing with survivor guilt over the death of her sister in a car accident less than a year ago.
Your mother and I know that today couldn't have been easy. And it wasn't easy for us either. If you need to talk about it.
Her love interest is Finch, a loner with a dark family secret.
Did he do that to you?
I used to be a lot smaller.
While they are good for each other, Finch's past and his emotional scars are too much to bear and lead to his death in one of the final scenes, leaving Violet with just her memories and the lessons he taught her during their too short time together.
I wasn't worried about what would happen if I lived. I was worried about what would happen if I didn't.
Number 13, Dead Poets Society.
Seize the day. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Why does the writer use these lines?
Because he's in a hurry.
No. Ding!
The story of an English teacher, John Keating, at a conservative prep school in 1959, whose methods inspire the kids to make their lives extraordinary. The problem is that the kids' parents and the traditional school don't feel the same way about this new teacher and his ways. In the end, it's the elite traditions and beliefs that win out, leading to a student dying and Keating being fired. However, through that sadness, there's hope.
Captain, my captain. Sit down, Mr. Anderson.
Words that surely bring a tear to the eye of almost anyone who has seen the end of the film. And it even probably has a few of you standing on your desks as we speak.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Number 12, My Girl. This coming-of-age film focuses on the lives and friendship between preteens Thomas J. Sennett and Veda Sultanfus. In 1990, Home Alone made Macaulay Culkin a star, and in 1991, he starred in My Girl.
Hey, look at this! No feet! Oh wow, real Evel Knievel.
However, while in the former he was able to outsmart a couple of thieves all by himself, in My Girl he isn't able to overcome his allergy to bees. And it's this allergy that results in his death one day as he attempts to retrieve Veda's lost mood ring. It's an incredibly sad moment, but as with many other such moments, this sadness opens people up to each other and helps to heal other relationships.
His face hurts. And where is his glasses? He can't see without his glasses. Put his glasses on. Put on his glasses. He was going to be an acrobat.
So you will smile at the end, albeit with tears running down your cheeks.
You were such a good friend to him. I hope you'll still come by and visit me.
I will. I promise.
Number 11, Midnight Sun.
So I'll keep
Hey.
Katie and Charlie fall in love, but Katie has a rare condition called xeroderma pigmentosum, which forbids her from being exposed to direct sunlight.
Katie!
You see where this one's going, right? Yes, Katie dies, but not before experiencing one last moment of joy and happiness. She convinces her dad to let her go out during the day, and in her final moments, she goes sailing with Charlie and feels the sunlight on her skin, going out on her own terms with the boy she loves. If you're not crying yet, you will be soon.
And the light from those moments will be shining down for the next 1,000 years. But I have walked alone.
Number 10, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Based on the beloved YA novel by Stephen Chbosky, who also wrote and directed this film adaptation, The Perks of Being a Wallflower is a movie that deals with heavy topics like teenage depression and mental illness.
Candace, I killed Aunt Helen, didn't I? She died getting my birthday present, so I guess I killed her, right? I tried to stop thinking that, but I can't. She keeps driving away and dying.
Call the police and send them to my house.
In a twist near the end of the film, however, we find out that the main character, Charlie, was abused by his aunt when he was a child, and that he blames himself for her sudden death. This revelation causes him to have a mental breakdown, and while he does eventually return home, there's a bittersweet sadness to the conclusion of the story.
And you're listening to that song on that drive with the people you love most in this world. And in this moment, I swear, we are infinite.
Number 9, The Maze Runner. For the duration of the story told in The Maze Runner, the main character has no memory of his life before he arrived in the Glade.
I'm sure by now you must all be very confused, angry, frightened. I can only assure you that everything that's happened to you, everything we've done to you, it was all done for a reason.
It's only at the end of the movie that we find out what brought all of these young people together. It turns out that a solar flare occurred, causing widespread devastation on Earth and killing many.
You won't remember, but the sun has scorched our world. Billions of lives lost to fire, famine.
Even worse, in the aftermath of the natural disaster, a pandemic that was dubbed the Flare killed many more. Thomas and the others learned they were part of an experiment, and that it's not over yet. Number 8, If I Stay.
I'll do whatever you want. Just please stay. You're my home, Mia. I don't care where we are, I just care that we're together.
This heartbreaking movie, based on the 2009 novel, tells the story of Mia, a young girl who gets into a disastrous car accident which kills her family and leaves her with life-threatening injuries. We see much of the story take place in flashbacks, as Mia is forced to decide whether she'll stay on Earth or join her family in the afterlife.
But that night, sitting around the bonfire jamming with Adam and everyone else, I realized I was wrong. The cello isn't a solo instrument. It's part part of something bigger.
It's a bleak premise, and the ending is pretty soul-crushing until the very moment that she opens her eyes, letting the audience know that she's finally made the decision to stay.
Mia.
Number 7, Call Me By Your Name. Call Me By Your Name isn't your typical teen romance movie, largely because only one of the members of the central couple is a teenager.
I like the way you say things. I don't know why you're always putting yourself down, though.
So you won't, I guess?
You really that afraid of what I think?
This touching story follows young Elio, who's spending the summer in Italy with his family, where he meets the 24-year-old grad student Oliver, and the two fall in love.
Call me by your name and I'll call you by mine. Elio.
This relationship had a lot working against it, and the audience knew it was doomed to end in heartbreak. But the final scene after Oliver goes home, where Elio just stares into the fire crying, is nearly impossible to watch.
Is it a video? Is it a video?
Number 6, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Sometimes you know from the title of a movie that it isn't going to have a happy ending, but that doesn't make it any easier to deal with.
It's not exactly what I wanted to say to you. But whatever. Let's just watch this first, okay?
Me and Earl and the Dying Girl ends with Rachel dying, which shouldn't be too much of a surprise, as we know that she has leukemia.
That was the last time I saw Rachel. She went into a coma shortly after that and died about 10 hours later. I know I told you she doesn't die, and I'm sorry. Deep down, somehow, I didn't think she would, but she did.
But watching Greg show up at the hospital and give her a private screening of the film he made left us all choked up. And the following scenes at her funeral and hearing about the letter she wrote to his college is almost too much to handle.
Goodbye, Greg. You're a good friend. Although if you don't go to college, you're also an idiot. But you already knew that. Love, Rachel.
Number 5, Bridge to Terabithia. The novel Bridge to Terabithia was published in the 70s, so many people already know about the heartbreaking event that takes place near the end of the story, but it's still terrible to watch in the movie version, which stars a young Josh Hutcherson as Jess. Jess and his friend Leslie create an imaginary world together, but this is no simple fantasy story. Seemingly out of nowhere, Jess gets the news that Leslie has been killed in an accident when the rope swing that they used together broke and she drowned in the creek.
Your friend Leslie's dead. She drowned in a creek this morning. Apparently she tried to swing across on a rope and it broke. They think she hit her head.
Jess's disbelief and the grief force him to grow up fast, and it makes us wish the innocence of childhood could last forever.
But you gotta look really hard. But keep your mind wide open.
Number 4, The Fault in Our Stars.
And how are you doing?
You mean besides the terminal cancer? All right, I guess.
In a movie about two teens living with cancer, you can probably guess that the ending will not be a happy one.
Hazel Grace, they don't actually hurt you unless you light them. I never lit one. It's a metaphor, see? You put the thing that does the killing right between your teeth, but you never give it the power to kill you.
Hazel and Augustus meet at a cancer support group, and throughout their relationship, Gus seems relatively healthy, whereas Hazel undergoes numerous health scares. The viewer is left assuming that she will die, leaving him behind, but in the end, the opposite takes place, with his health rapidly deteriorating.
God. Do I want more days for Augustus Waters than what he got? But Gus, my love, I cannot tell you how thankful I am for our little infinity.
The final scene involves Hazel reading the eulogy that Gus wrote for her, and trust us when we say that there's no way you can finish this movie without tears in your eyes.
You don't get to choose if you get hurt in this world, but you do have a say in who hurts you. And I like my choices. I hope she likes hers. Okay, Hazel Grace?
Okay.
Number 3, 5 Feet Apart. If you're looking for the next The Fault in Our Stars, look no further than 5 Feet Apart. Released in 2019. Following the formula of sick teens fall in love, this story is about Stella and Will, 2 young people living with cystic fibrosis.
Hey! Look, I get that you have some kind of save-the-world hero complex going on, but can you leave me out of it?
These meds are not optional.
Yeah, that's probably why they keep shoving them down my throat.
You're making me crazy.
The 2 can't be physically close to each other because of the risk of cross-infection.
5 feet apart. Deal? Are you in?
I'm so in.
Their relationship is one filled with risks, but in the end, Stella begins to get healthier while Will realizes that his days are numbered.
I don't know what comes next, but I don't regret any of this. Could you close your eyes? I just don't know if I can walk away if you're still looking at me.
In the final scene, he asks her not to look at him so that he can walk away and prevent her from mourning his eventual death.
So much.
Number 2, Romeo and Juliet. For never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo.
Romeo, doff thy name, and for thy name, which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word.
One of the saddest teen movie endings is also one of the most tragic endings in the history of fiction. William Shakespeare's beloved tragic play, Romeo and Juliet, is known for the heartbreaking ending in which the 2 young lovers both take their own lives, thinking that the other is dead.
My love. My wife. Death that hath sucked the honey of thy breath hath had no power yet upon thy beauty. Thou art not conquered.
In Baz Luhrmann's 1996 version, it's made even more devastating by the fact that Juliet actually wakes up as Romeo is taking the poison, and he sees her, realizing the mistake he's made.
Dateless bargain to engrossing death.
Romeo.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, A Walk to Remember. We didn't realize just how many movies there are about teenagers with cancer. One of the original examples is 2002's A Walk to Remember, starring Mandy Moore. Jamie and Landon seem to have nothing in common. He's a bad boy and she's the minister's daughter.
What do you want, Carter? I've known you for years. You've never been the first one to come up and say hello.
I need help with my lines.
Landon Carter's asking me for help?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pray for you.
When they're forced to work together, she hides the fact that she's dying of leukemia from him. In the end, they get married before she succumbs to her illness. And while all of that makes us grab for our tissues, it's Landon's speech about Jamie that has us sobbing uncontrollably.
Jamie saved my life. She taught me everything. About life, hope, and the long journey ahead.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.